Da1beazy, aka Brandon Gordon Gabb. And we're about to take a march through time, presented by Time in Fortnite. March through Time, explore, reimagine Washington, D.C., and celebrate the life and work of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. in a new interactive experience presented by Time Studios. From what I read about it, it takes you through it takes you through Washington D.C. during '63 in Million Man March. There's a few interactive things, and it ends with the "I Have a Dream" speech. Now, when I first watched this, when I first came across it, I sat here and had a discussion with myself and aloud with myself, I should say, about this event. I wasn't sure if I was going to do it. The reason being, like, do I want to experience that? Yes and no. The reason being is, even though that wasn't too long ago, we have made generous strides from that point. Not only have we got rid of segregation for the most part, we've had a black president. You know, not that means a lot, but it does, for a country where people of color weren't even considered people to a point of running the country. That's really great. Now, here's why I have mixed feelings about this march through time. Like I said, I believe that we've come a long way from that point. So, the "I Have a Dream" speech is a little dated. Does it have historical significance? Yes. But at a time where interracial dating is huge and everybody's just about being accepted, to say, you know, it's a dream, you know, we've come a long way, basically. And to dwell on the past kind of hinders that for me. Now, I understand why this still is a dream. It's still a dream because how do I put it? We all want to be accepted. The first thing is, we all want to be accepted by people that look like us. When I say look like us, think back to elementary school. Boys rule, girls drool. You know, boys are icky, you know, girls are where it's at. Just a few years ago, didn't Beyonce say, "Who run the world? Girls." Now, it starts with wanting to be accepted by our own gender. And then it goes from wanting to be accepted by our own gender, by wanting to be accepted by people that look like us, as far as skin color and things of that sort. Like, no black person, I can only speak for black people at this point, but I know this kind of goes for everybody, wants to be the stereotypical black person. But at the same time, don't come and think that you could take our black card. It's those contradictions that will always be around. You know? Smart people want to be with smart people. You know, ignorant people want to be amongst the ignorance. And it comes to wanting to be accepted by who we think we are or who we know we are. And we want that to reflect around our social circles. So to a certain point, racism will always exist. Because, like I said, we want to be grouped with quote unquote our own kind. And like I said, that could vary for a lot of things. You know, doctors want to hang with other doctors, stuff like that. We're all grouped and categorized throughout different aspects of our life. And race is no different. But wanting to be accepted by your own race and having pride in yourself doesn't necessarily equate to racism as they knew it. Because again, they knew racism as segregation. Now, parts of the US still segregated. Like, for example, every city has a Chinatown, where a lot of Asians live. Now, all Asians that live in Chinatown aren't Chinese, but you know, due to lack of experience with other cultures, some people just put all Asians together as Chinese, which is bad. You know, just like all people of Latin descent aren't Mexican. You know, all black people aren't from Africa. You know, now if you want to know how much racism still play a part in today's life, I'm going to ask you a question that nobody can answer. Where did life begin on this earth? A lot of people will try to make the argument that the first people on earth were black, they're from Africa, and this and that, when nobody was around during the creation of life. You know? So this is how much racism affects little things, you know? And that's not even to go into religion and things of this sort. And it just goes to people wanting to be included. We still face small forms of racism, which are still big forms of racism. Like, I just had a whole conversation about racism in the movie industry. Will Smith, who has a avatar in Fortnite, being one of the biggest black actors ever, never kissed a white woman on screen. He had a movie called Hancock where he was a superhero, and his soulmate literally was a white woman, and at the end they couldn't be together. Now, have there been interracial couples on screen? Yeah. 90 majority of the time it's portrayed as white man, black woman. You know? But it's just a few of the racial injustice that we have. To me, that's kind of minor because it's imaginary. We look around us now, there are plenty of interracial couples, you know, not just black and white, but mixtures from every race, background, religion. There's so many combination of couples that I feel it's safe to say, you know, racism doesn't necessarily exist. It's more of a mental state. You know? Because we're told at one point it did exist. We're told at one point that we were different from someone else. So that sticks with us in the back of our minds. You know? And it grows. Because now you're looking for evidence of it. Even though you might see the contrary, you're still looking for evidence of it because you're told it exists. Told to look out for this and to be aware and to try to avoid it. So it still exists, you know, subconsciously. But it will always be there. That's why I'm like, I have mixed feelings about it. Because it's, you know, the I have a dream speech is still sort of a dream. Because we'll never be able to get, not saying we won't be able to get past race as people, but race will always be there. Because there's always going to be black people, there's always going to be white people, there's always going to be brown people, there's always going to be yellow people, you know. And we create colors in place of a race because it's like we're all the human race, right? What we call race half the time comes from nationality. You're African if you came from Africa, you're American if you came from America, European if you came from Europe, you're British if you came from Britain, you're Asian if you came from the Asian continent, right? But even the Asian continent, just like the Americas, just like Africa, are split into different nations and different sectors and different branches to create a whole different sub-race of what we call race. That's why we ended up going to color. You know, like all Africans aren't Nigerian. You know, China is huge. You know, it's like you got America, South America, Central America. Now, you ask an American from North America, where are you from? They'll give their city and state. Chicago, Illinois, Memphis, Tennessee. You know? So we separate ourselves from the bigger picture from jump. You know? You gotta rep your city. You gotta rep your state. Like your whole state is a whole nation. So all of this categorization is what plays a part in race. But as long as we're all of different race and we divide and subdivide the human race, there's always going to be racism. So that's why It's I have a dream, you know, and the dream would never become reality because we're still all just, used to being categorized: male, female, transgender, you know, stuff like that. It's always a new subdivision. So we will always be separated, even though we're all together. The reason we're all separated is because we all want to be included. But nobody wants to be just human. Like, what's your race? Human. Because the only way for you to acknowledge that you're just human is to acknowledge that there's extraterrestrial life. Half of us can't even look beyond our own race, yet alone want to fathom that the universe may be bigger than us. That's a whole different conversation, though. So I sat here and I debated on if I was going to do it or not. I think it would be a great experience, and I'm here so you all can enjoy this experience with me. Now, with this being a kids game, I'm pretty sure it's going to be pretty tame. So we're not going to get the full experience, which is good because we experience a lot that's traumatizing. It's, man, you gotta remember, this wasn't exactly a great time to be a non-white American. Fire hoses, dogs, lynch mobs, hangings. All of this went hand in hand with this march for peace, with this march for integration, with this march of love. All of this went hand in hand with it. So that's something to remember, or to at least think about when we're going into this. Because yeah, it's fun and it's tamed down and it's watered down for the kids. But this happened. This man that you see on our screen right now, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., he was assassinated for speaking his mind. He was assassinated for trying to bring people together. Now, is there more to the man, the legend, the myth? I'm pretty sure there is. Because again, everything is toned down and watered down for the kids. But for the most part, he was a voice, not just for his community. He was a voice of a nation. Because you have to understand, it wasn't just him that felt this way. It wasn't just black people that felt this way. The whole nation felt this way. The whole nation was tired of it. This is why everybody was able to march together through Washington. This is how the whole nation felt. It wasn't just one man, it wasn't just one group of people. So he was the voice for that. They had to silence the voice. So, R.I.P. Hope y'all ready for this. Let's go. Let's jump into it. I'm Da1beazy, Brandon Gordon Gabb, by the way. We're just waiting. Uh, it is a creative showcase created by the community, Time Studios, to take you through a march through time. Things like this put Fortnite in my top 5 video game of all time. Look at all us. Different race, creed, nationalities. That's why online gaming is amazing. Brings people of all kinds together. Don't matter if you're an alien. Are you an alien or are you a mutant? Don't matter, right? We all here to experience this together. We're all here to have fun together. We're all here to meet new people. Every person in this world has a light, a voice they can raise to make change. Explore the map for 20 minutes to receive your prize, but if you work together you complete all of the puzzles to add your light.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation.
Hey, respect the monument. Get out the pool.
50 years ago, the great American in whose symbolic shadow we stand today signed the Emancipation
I want to be front and center too.
Proclamation. This momentous decree came as the great beacon light of hope to millions of Negro slaves who had been seared in the flames of withering injustice, who came as a joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still is not free. 100 years later, the life of the Negro is still sadly crippled by the manacles of segregation and the chains of discrimination. 100 years later, Negro lives on a lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, the Negro is still languished in the corners of American society, finds himself in exile in his own land. So we've come here today, dramatized a shameful condition. In a sense, we've come to our nation's capital to cash a check. When the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence, they were signing a promissory note to which every American was to fall heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check, a check which has come back marked insufficient funds. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. We refuse to believe that there are insufficient funds in the great vaults of opportunity of this nation. So we've come to cash this check, a check that will give us upon demand the riches of freedom and the security of justice. We have also come to this hallowed spot.
I got the pleasure of hearing Rosa Parks speak at my church once. Amazing lady.
This is no time to engage in the luxury of cooling off or to take the tranquilizing drug of gradualism.
What made the thing I remember from her speech was she was like, the way they talk about me, they say they talk like I was an old lady. I wasn't an old lady. I just wasn't getting up. And that made me fall in love with her.
Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time. Make justice a reality for all of God's children. It would be fatal for the nation to overlook the urgency of the moment. This sweltering summit of the Negro's legitimate discontent will not pass until there is an invigorating autumn of freedom and equality. 1963 is not an end, but a beginning. Those who hope that the Negro needed to blow off steam and will now be content will have a rude awakening if the nation returns to business as usual. There will be neither rest nor tranquility in America until the Negro is granted his citizenship rights. The whirlwinds of revolt will continue to shake the foundations of our nation until the bright day of justice emerges. That is something that I must say to my people who stand on the warm threshold which leads into the palace of justice. In the process of gaining our rightful place, we must not be guilty of wrongful deeds. Let us not seek to satisfy our thirst for freedom by drinking from the cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle.
I don't have any history of the past. I feel already.
We must not allow our creative protests to degenerate into physical violence. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights of meeting physical force with soul force. The marvelous new militancy which has engulfed the Negro community must not lead us to a distrust of all white people. For many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is tied up with our destiny. Bound to our freedom. We cannot walk alone. can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality. We can never be satisfied as long as our body is heavy with the fatigue of travel. Cannot gain
Freedom
lodging
Rider.
in the motels and the highways and the hotels.
Justice Rider.
We cannot be satisfied
I
as
knew
long
it.
as the Negro's basic mobility is from a smaller ghetto to a larger one. We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped of their selfhood and robbed of their dignity by signs stating for whites only. We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro in Mississippi cannot vote and the Negro in New York believes he has nothing for which to vote. No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters.
Oh, it's the Lincoln Memorial. I'm a dumbass. Chicago.
Some of you have come here out of great trials and tribulations. Some of you have come fresh from narrow jail cells.
Well, I don't mess with you.
Some of you have come from areas where your quest for freedom left you battered by the storms of persecution, staggered by the winds of police brutality. You have been the veterans of creative suffering. Continue to work with the faith that unearned suffering is redemption. Go back to Mississippi. Go back to Alabama. Go back to South Carolina. Go back to Georgia. Go back to Louisiana. Go back to the slums and ghettos of our northern cities. Knowing that somehow this situation can and will be changed. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friend,
I don't have free episodes.
so even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream. One day, this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created equal. I have a dream that one day on the red hills of Georgia, sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will they be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream. One day, even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My poor little children one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today. brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day. This will be the day when all of God's children be able to sing with new meaning, "My country, tears of thee." Sweet land of liberty of thee I sing. Land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountainside, let freedom ring. And if America is to be a great nation, this must become true. So let freedom ring. From the prodigious hilltops of New Hampshire, let freedom ring.
No.
From the mighty mountains of New
That's
York,
only me anyway.
let freedom ring. From the hiking Alleghenies of
Make a
Pennsylvania,
change.
let freedom ring. From the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado, let freedom ring. From the curvaceous slopes of California. But not only that, let freedom ring from Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let freedom ring from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let freedom ring from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let freedom ring. And when it happens, when we allow freedom ring, when we let it ring from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to speed up that day when all of God's children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Protestants and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual, "Free at last, free at last, thank God Almighty, we are free at last."
Missing one. Make friends. The march. Whoops. Ah. Ah. Freaking platforming. Ah. I'll never finish it. Not that I wouldn't be able to finish it, just well, past another one. It was a pretty short speech. It's pretty good and powerful, moving. What the fuck? Excuse my language. Ah. This is cool, but so stupid. Add my light to the flame. Know that. Stick the landing. Ah, wrong way. Now, just missed the speech. Thank you for joining. There's a few missions to do and stuff, but nah, the missions don't really interest me at this point. I'll probably run through it again and sit there so we can watch the whole speech again. Go through the museum one more time. Yeah, start at my favorite spot. Miss Rosa Parks. Like I said, I got the chance of hearing her speak at the church one time. And by this time she was really up in age. It was a few years before she died. And like I said, I was young, still in elementary school myself. And I remember her saying, people talk about me every time they tell the story. They talk like I was some old lady. I couldn't get up, I couldn't move. Like, that wasn't the case. I just wasn't getting up that day. Nothing was gonna move me. And that's how recent but far that is. Like, to my kid, to my child, you know, it sound like a made up story to her that I got to hear Rosa Parks speak. You know, given, you know, she was in age at that time, you know, and I was still a child, but I did get to hear her speak. That's how close but far off this is, you know. So this is recent but distant history. Gotta remember, technically, all these people that fought for, that didn't even fight, that marched and rebelled against the authority for the rights that, for the world that we know it today, were all considered criminals. Like, these are the criminals that if I had to be a criminal, I would want to be. Not bang bang shoot 'em up. Not Mr. Drug Dealer Al Pacino Scarface. These people. Like, my daughter's grandmother, she had to deal with stuff like that, like going to school with police escorts because they were just integrating schools. Like, this is how far removed but close it is. Now, imagine, like, man, it's so crazy. So crazy. I was just talking about that, how they put the holes on people and things like that. They don't got the picture of the dogs. But man, my daughter, she goes to a mixed school now. You know, even though like 70% of the population is white, she goes to a mixed school. My school was 99% black. The only person of a different race was Mr. Casey, the gym teacher. He was a white guy. So, just even then, coming up, it's a big change. Ah, that's interesting. Is there a time limit? Let's go. Nope, not that way. Ah, I was trying to keep a black man down. No, but man, hope. What's hope? Is hope the uncertainty of not knowing that what you do is ever going to come to fruition? Is that the word? Ever going to come to light? We all hope that we're making the right decision. We all hope that we're living our best lives. We all hope to see tomorrow. Hope. And when we run out of hope, like I hope nothing goes wrong, we try to walk by faith. Like, I don't know if it will or won't, but we're gonna tackle it anyway. Like, how do you know? I don't. Alright, so I'm gonna leave this and then I'm gonna start it over again so we can watch the speech again, and I'll sit there and watch the whole speech this time. It's very powerful. Mike Lowry. I guess I would take a break Where's the item shop? We could go to the item shop and check out some of the stuff. Shadow Strike. Now we'll start at the top. Mike Lowry. Bad Boys. He got the loose cannon cutters. Cause he's a loose cannon. I would have did Agent M from Men in Black, especially with the alien invasion going on. But you know, that oppressor skin look nice. Ruckus. Shadow Strike look decent. I like the shadow archetype over here. Shadow combo cleavers. Those bright. Oh, I like that katana. Master Chief is back. Mecha Morty. This Wonder Woman skin looks so nice. Can't even lie. I've been busy this season myself. Did it all for this. I did the whole, I can't say the whole battle pass, but everything I did in Fortnite this season was for this sword. Okay, now we're gonna go back through the March Through Time. Watch it over from the beginning. Oh crap. Wait. Son of a... My laptop's downstairs. Okay, give me 1 second. back. Give me a second to set up, please. Oh gosh, excuse me. Okay, so, where is it? Career item locker. Shoot. Change. Kinda sucks. I wanted the screen that I had for you all when I started, because now you all got the exclusive. YouTube got the exclusive. Now I'm gonna stream to my Gabb Games Facebook page. Excuse me. Whew. Good water. Let's see where I'm at with the rewards. I wanted to get this lady down here, but I still gotta unlock one more thing up here. Before I could even touch that page. Get the little spaceship. Waiting for everything to load up now. No. Had to buy the battle pass. Now, parents, remember, here's where things get tricky. If you're not into games, I'm going to put you on game right now. If your child's able to complete the battle pass, they will have enough V-Bucks to keep buying the battle pass. Now granted, you know, and if they complete the battle pass, more than likely they'll get the skins they're looking for, so you won't have to buy the skins, unless they're like limited special edition type stuff that's not on the battle pass. Like I got Superman Clark Kent, you know, because I've been working on the battle pass. But the problem comes, and I know as a father who has a child that's into these type of games, when school is around and us being parents, you're like, I'll put down that damn game and read a book or something. But they won't be able to complete the battle pass, you know, especially when school is there, because you got to do homework, all that before you even touch the game, if they're allowed to even play during the week. So, you know, that's the give-take relationship when it comes to games like this. And it's a good way to teach your kids financial responsibility. It's like, if you work hard enough, you can buy your own battle pass after I give you the initial investment. After I give you the initial investment, and your hard work could pay off, and you could afford your own battle pass. So it's also helping with financial responsibility. But school comes first. That's their job. And it's your job as a parent to make sure they remember school comes first. So it's a give and take relationship. You know? Work hard, play hard. So personally, I'm not the type of parent to take away the game during the week while you're in school. But you have to show me completed homework, you know, and all of that stuff before you get to touch it. Completed homework, responsibilities around the house, then you could go do what you want. Well, not do what you want, but you know, you can go play your video game, you could whatever, you know. Again, I'm trying to stall while I set the stuff up. They actually have some good stuff. Like, I wanted to make sure I got the female characters first. Like, I really did want her, and I want her because I have, you know, girls that could relate to. It's you know what's the most relatable thing about these characters? It's not even their skin complexion for me. It's the hair. The hair texture. Like, if I could put the hair texture on the alien chick, I would do that. Oh, that's the V-Bucks. That's weird. Oh. Ah, that's cool. If I could put that on her, you know, I would. But the hair textures, you don't understand how much that's important to me. You know. But yeah, I had to get the you know, the black ladies and stuff. I have women of color in my house. You know, I have to make them feel represented. Like the character I have, I got from, lucky enough, I got from the Travis Scott Fortnite event that season, or else I wouldn't have a person of color myself. The problem though is hair. Like, if I got my hair permed and cut it like that, I could get a look like that, or even use the hot comb, you know. But the hair is what throws it off for me. Representation matters, you know. Let me see. YouTube. Gabb Games. Live. Fortnite March Through Time, Martin Luther King Jr. event. I know there's probably an easier way to do this. Wait, no, I didn't want to pause. Fortnite March Through Time. Sound. Son of a. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. I have 47 subscribers. I need 53. Help a brother out. Copy the link. Let's go over here. Actually, I didn't even need to copy the link. Window. Chrome tab. Share. Bam. Now I can maximize that. Share. Let's see. Close. We're gonna post that there. Title. Fortnite March Through Time event. Wait, March Through Time. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. event. Not event. Da1beazy, aka Brandon Gordon Gabb. I'm an idiot. Gaming, tag the game. FORT Night. Not NIGHT, NIT. Right? Okay. There we go. Now what am I missing that I can't go live? Audience setting. Save. So what's the issue? Title required, it's there. Post to page you manage. Why can't I go live? Why isn't it letting me start? Okay, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Just give it a second. Okay. Hello everybody. I'm Da1beazy, aka Brandon Gordon Gabb. of gabbgames.com. You can find me on YouTube. Type in gabbgames.com and you'll find me. Or you can type in Da1beazy, Da1beazy, and you'll find me. You can find me on Facebook at gabbgames.com. You know, search Facebook for gabbgames.com. So what we're doing right now, type in gabbgames.com and you'll find me. Or you can type in Da1beazy, Da1beazy. Okay. So what we're doing right now is a march through time. Presented by Time, explore DC 63. A reimagined Washington DC where Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his iconic I Have a Dream speech. Along with Fortnite players from all around the world, listen to the defining civil rights movement. Listen to this defining civil rights movement. So that's what we're doing. Let's play up. Let's see. I'll turn up my TV a bit. This is also streaming on my YouTube page. YouTube got the exclusive, so check me out there. All these players from around the world coming together for a greater purpose. Even though I'm not going to really stay around to complete the missions, I'm glad that we're all here. It's part of the dream. So I gotta stay here for this 20 minutes this time because I want that prize. Superman! New Superman will be here. He's an illegal alien. Million Avatar March. Mike Lowry.
I am happy to join with you today in what will go down in history as the greatest demonstration for freedom in the history of our nation.
Really not gonna let me sit.
4 years ago, great American symbolic shadow we stand today, signed the Emancipation Proclamation. This momentous decree came as the great decolonial hope visions of the Negro slave, who had been seared in the flames of the liberating injustice, came as the joyous daybreak to end the long night of their captivity. But 100 years later, the Negro still the vast ocean of material prosperity. 100 years later, Negro is still languishing in the corners of American society, finds himself in exile in his own land. So we come here today, traumatized of shameful conditions. In a sense, we come to our nation's capital to cash a check. And the architects of our republic wrote the magnificent words of the Constitution and the Declaration of Independence. They were signing a promissory note with every American was the full heir. This note was a promise that all men, yes, black men as well as white men, would be guaranteed the unalienable rights of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. It is obvious today that America has defaulted on this promissory note insofar as her citizens of color are concerned. Instead of honoring this sacred obligation, America has given the Negro people a bad check. A check which has come back marked insufficient fraud. cup of bitterness and hatred. We must forever conduct our struggle on the high plane of dignity and discipline. We must not allow our creative protest to degenerate into physical power. Again and again, we must rise to the majestic heights, meeting physical form with soul form. The marvelous new militancy, which has engulfed the Negro community, must not lead us to a distrust of all white. For many of our white brothers, as evidenced by their presence here today, have come to realize that their destiny is part of our destiny. They have come to realize their freedom is inextricably bound to our freedom. We cannot walk alone. As we walk, we must make the pledge that we shall always march ahead. We cannot turn back. There are those who ask if you could ever lead to civil rights. When will you be satisfied? We can never be satisfied as long as the Negro is the victim of the unspeakable horrors of police brutality. We can never be satisfied. As long as our body is heavy with the fatigue of travel, cannot gain lodging in the hotels of the highways and the hotels of the city. We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro's basic mobility is from a smaller ghetto to a larger one. We can never be satisfied as long as our children are stripped of their selfhood and robbed of their dignity by signs stating for white home. We cannot be satisfied as long as the Negro in Mississippi cannot vote and the Negro in New York believes he has nothing for which to vote. No, we are not satisfied, and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like water and righteousness like a mighty stream. I'm not mindful. Some of you have come here out of great trials and tribulations. Some of you have come straight from narrow jail cells. Some of you have come from areas where your present quest for freedom left you battered by the storms of persecution, staggered by the winds of police brutality. You have been the veterans of creative suffering. Continue to work with the faith that unearned suffering is redemption. Go back to Mississippi. Go back to Alabama. Go back to South Carolina. Go back to Georgia. Go back to Louisiana. Go back to some of the ghettos out on knowing that somehow this situation can and will be changed. Let us not wallow in the valley of despair. I say to you today, my friend, so even though we face difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. I have a dream. One day, this nation will rise up, live out the true meaning of its dream. We hold these truths to be self-evident that all men are created Even the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream. My poor little children, one day in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious race, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of imposition of the king. One day right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted. Every hill and mountain will be made low, the rock places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the word of the Lord will be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. This is our hope. This is the thing that I go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to go up the mountain of despair of the soul of the hope. With this faith, we will be able to transform the dangling discourse of our nation into a beautiful citizenry of brotherhood. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. This will be the day when all the gods will be able to sing with new meaning, my country is me. Sweet land of liberty of the Odyssey, land where my fathers died, land of the pilgrim's pride. From every mountain and cloud, let free the rain in America's be awakening. This must become true. So let free the rain from the broken hilltops of the mountains. Let free the rain from the mighty mountains of New York. Let free the rain from the high Alleghenies of Pennsylvania. Let free the rain from the snow-capped Rockies of Colorado. Let free the rain from the very slopes of California. Not only that, let free the rain from the Stone Mountain of Georgia. Let free the rain from Lookout Mountain of Tennessee. Let free the rain from every hill and molehill of Mississippi, from every mountainside. Let free the rain from every mountain. When we not free the rain, when we get rain from every village and every hamlet, from every state and every city, we will be able to be up that day when all across the children, black men and white men, Jews and Gentiles, Muslims and Catholics, will be able to join hands and sing in the words of the old Negro spiritual. Free at last, thank God Almighty.
Woo! Epic. Epic Games, Fortnite, Time Studios, Da1beazy, GabbGames.com. I was here. Now let's check out the museum. March Through Time is an exhibit that explores the pivotal moments of the civil rights movement and the power of everyday people standing up against racial inequalities, separate but unequal, waiting rooms for whites only, colored drinking fountains, segregation, ladies, men, color. Birmingham campaign, where they sick dogs on people, turned on the fire hoses to disperse the crowd. Look at that, that's tanks. History. History that's closer than we think, but far enough because of the strides we've made that it seems like it was a bad dream. Had to fight just to eat lunch at a freaking Denny's. The Montgomery bus boycott, kicked off by this young lady here, Miss Rosa Parks, who I actually got the chance to hear speak. She said, "Hey, I hate that people say I was young. I hate when people tell the story and they say I was an old lady. I was young, just wasn't moving that day." Glad I got to hear her speak before she passed. Of course, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who became the face and the voice of a movement. We just heard his famous "I Have a Dream" speech, one of many speeches that he's gave, but none as epic as that one. Freedom Riders, it's part of the whole, bus terminal, bus boycott thing. March on Washington for jobs and freedoms. We all come together, not only just to protest, pray. Everybody wanted more than life was giving us at the time. Imagine going to school and not being able to go to not just a properly funded school like a lot of people in inner cities are now. I say inner cities because it's not just the what's the word I want to use? It's not just the black neighborhoods, it's all people that have in inner cities that just can't afford the funding. Because it's a lot more than your suburban schools, or private schools that have private money coming in and out of them. Suburban schools, smaller towns, less schools, more money to go around for schools. Schools in the city, there's about 1 million schools. So to get the proper funding and educational tools is one thing, but imagine not being able to go to a school in a white neighborhood, or in a black neighborhood, or in a Hispanic neighborhood. Like, imagine, they say, no, I'm not even gonna go there, that's a little racist. I was gonna say, they say white people can't dance, but what if it's because they didn't get to go to the schools where all of that was taught because they were white? Just a little flip on it, because we all know the black side, right? You can't go to blacks can't go to white schools, whites can't go to black schools. There was no intermingling. Had to fight for that. my daughter's grandmother was actually one of the first people to actually, you know, deal with that and become integrated. So it's pretty cool. Same thing, same thing. Now it's time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to solid rock of brotherhood. Then these are various activities. Let me go help out this young person right here. This person. Oops, hold on. Ah! Try to get up there with you, buddy. Ah! You didn't bring your torch. Come on, we gotta start it over. I don't. There we go. On February 1st, 1960, four African American students sat at a whites-only lunch counter at a Woolworth in Greensboro to protest its segregated city. This quiet act of defiance sparked a youth-led movement focused on the racial inequalities plaguing the South. Hell no, we won't go. Look like somebody broke window. In order to activate the light board, complete all 10 minigames, then have 10 people add their light alongside you. Once you complete all the puzzles and add your light to the board, tweet at hashtag FNDC63 Fortnite DC63, that's what it is, FN, with a screenshot of your light on the board, and tell us how your voice can make a positive impact. Okay, back to what I was reading. Well, not back, but, keep reading. No, no, we are not satisfied. And we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream. I have a dream that my four little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. Hopefully they're not jerks. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. With this faith, we will be able to work together, to pray together, to struggle together, to go to jail together, to stand up for freedom together, knowing that we will be free one day. Like, nobody said nothing about going to jail, Dr. King. Shut your punk ass up. And so, even though we face the difficulties of today and tomorrow, I still have a dream. It is a dream deeply rooted in the American dream. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. But we refuse to believe that the Bank of Justice is bankrupt. Now is the time to lift our nation from the quicksands of racial injustice to the solid rock of brotherhood. Now is the time to make real the promise of democracy. Now is the time to rise from the dark and desolate valley of segregation to the sunlit path of racial justice. I almost said injustice just now. Those signs back there are explaining what the little mini games are. That's as far as I could go. Figure. And that, my friends, that is the march. Visit Time to learn more. The march. Time magazine and Fortnite. Epic Games. Thank you. History trivia. One player. Use the knowledge of the past to unlock the quest. Thank you, thank you, thank you. A group of white and black civil rights activists who travel across the American South together to protest segregated bus terminals are known as the Freedom Riders. A form of protest that activists use to fight against segregated seating in restaurants and diners is the Birmingham campaign. Lunch counter sit-in. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. delivered his famous I Have a Dream speech on the steps of the Lincoln Memorial. In which city was the I Have a Dream speech delivered? Washington, D.C. Is there more? One more. On December 1st, 1955, she refused to give up her bus seat to a white man. This incident helped spark the Montgomery bus boycott. Her name was Miss Rosa Parks. In 1960, 6-year-old Ruby Bridges became the first elementary grade student to integrate a school in the South. Ruby and her mother were escorted to school every day for a year by 4 U.S. federal marshals to protect their safety. Imagine at 6 going to school and people like, "You little black child, you don't belong here." Imagine that. 6. You need the po-pos to escort you to school. thank you all for visiting and joining. Just because this is Fortnite, I am going to end on a match. So, let's see what this is. It takes me back here. Okay. It's been over 20 minutes. I just wanted to make sure I got that. Let's leave this match. You can come in now.
I wanted to come annoy you.
Huh?
I wanted to come annoy you.
Want to come annoy me?
Yeah.
You can't annoy me.
Yes, I can.
No, you can't. You want to play Fortnite?
No.
Not boo.
Yeah, I don't know how to annoy you, so I can't really.
I told you you can't annoy.